GSL. GSL Season 3.
What's up, guys? We're Tastosis, and this is the GSL Code S. We've got a fantastic group here today. DRG is playing.
That's right. And, of course, Sue, three-time finalist in the GSL Code S. Three-time in a row finalist.
What is his story going to be this time?
Second place, obviously. Like,
yesterday,
history repeats itself, Tasteless.
We saw some pretty scary Protosses move on, and we were talking about how those two guys could be easily in the Final Four.
Yeah, and we have someone here who will be in the Final Four. In fact, second place. I have statistical analysis that proves it, Tasteless.
I got to say, it would be pretty freaky if he did get second place again here.
That would be quite a...
So some great Zergs playing
That wouldn't
today.
even be a curse. That would be like a blessing. It's like, wow, you are the most solid pro gamer of all time.
Well, what's interesting about it is that normally when you get players that get second places in GSL, nowhere at the level of notoriety. But this guy getting second place this many times in a row is insane. It's unheard of.
Well, we'll see if he can get out of this group. I think he's a real big shoo-in to get out of the group.
Well, every time we've seen him play, especially in the group phases of the tournament, he has done such an unbelievable job of making it look easy. He's confident beforehand in the interview. We'll be having the interview in a second, by the way. We'll see if he's still as confident as before. But, yeah, he kind of shrugs his way out of the group, and I would assume he'd be getting out today. We'll have to see.
Well, what about Stork? Because Stork and DRG both in this group as well. I mean, you have to put down Sue's the favorite, but I'm loving Stork.
I'm super excited about, primarily because I'm an old Brood War player. So Stork has been around, I think at this point in time, longer than any pro now that's been playing.
In Korea, he has been consistently a pro longer than anyone else.
That's what I was getting
But Sen has been a pro longer.
This is true. Sen, the non-Korean Zerg pro.
Yeah. And actually, you could say White Raw as well, if you still consider him a pro.
But someone like Stork here in the Korean competitions, I mean, this is the toughest stuff to be stable in, to be consistently appearing in. It's pretty incredible he's been doing this for this long. A lot of other pro gamers, they go into different lines of work. They go into casting or coaching or something else. But Stork is, I think he's 27 now?
26 or 27, yeah.
Which is pretty old considering he was beginning his pro gaming career, I think, at like 17 or 16
I believe
or
he's
something like that.
the oldest player on a Kespa team. I do believe. I think
I think so.
There's
he's one
very
of the
few
oldest Korean pro gamers.
He's one of the oldest pro gamers. Like Nesty is older. He's the oldest.
There's Hyun as well.
Hyun, I think, is
26.
I believe Stork is slightly older than Hyun.
Okay.
I think like maybe 1 year older.
But these are like this is the upper echelon for
absolutely.
Older players. So it'll be cool to see how he actually plays here today. Can he still compete with some of these newer, younger players? I guess not newer as pro gamers, newer as humans. Been on the Earth long, a little bit less.
32강전 G조 경기가
Okay, so now on to our interviews with the four players here in this group.
자, 오늘 가장 먼저 만나볼 선수 한때 브레이커라는 별명도 있었지만 이제는 어느덧 코드 S의 아이콘이
His nickname is the League Breaker.
T1 어윤수 선수 만나보겠습니다.
And he's now our idol here in Code S. It's Sue.
네. 자, 3연속 결승 진출을 이루면서 이제 저희의 스타가 되셨어요. 자, 이번 시리즈
So you made it to 3 consecutive finals and you become a star in Code S. How do you feel today?
자주 와서 딱히 감흥이 없고.
네.
Yeah, I've been to the studio so often now.
어윤수 선수는 항상 감정이
I don't really
없으시다.
feel anything different.
자, 이번 시즌 사실 조금은 부담을 느낄 수도 있을 것 같은데요. 어떻게 좀 부담감을 이겨내려고 노력하고 계시나요?
So you got a lot of pressure. A lot of people, especially Artosis, are expecting you to make it to 4 consecutive finals.
네.
You know, I don't really get nervous when I'm playing Code S, and I don't
실력 차이가 있으니까
really care what Artosis says about me. And
하면 이길 것 같아요.
He didn't say that part.
He didn't say that part.
오늘 사실 준
But I think the skill between me and other players is actually.
최성희 선수를 지목을 하셨습니다. 그 배경을 좀 들어볼 수 있을까요?
그때 명훈이 형 응원을 갔었는데.
네. 그때 저희 직관했을 때 함께 보시고 선택하신
So you picked
거예요?
Trust to be your opponent.
딱 조를 봤는데
What was the reasoning?
그 조가 말이 안 되는 거예요.
네.
그래서 저조 올라간 2명 뽑으면 되겠다. 물론
네.
명훈이 형 올라와도 명훈이 형 뽑고
네.
뭐 둘 중에 그러니까 2명 중에 1명 뽑으려고 했는데
I didn't get that one, guys. Sorry.
잘 된 것 같아요.
아 그렇군요. 참 최성희 선수 오늘 이렇게 준우승자와
Probably
함께
because
겨루게 됐는데요.
trust is
사실
not
올해 저그 사실
an established
유력한
route.
후보잖아요.
Could be going for an
혹시
easy win there.
기대되시나요?
근데
So you're the most
우승을
notable
해야
certain player
그런 거좀
for
받을
the
수
last
있는데.
year.
꼭
How do you
하기
feel
전에
about that?
우승 한번 하면은 받을 수 있을 것 같아요.
네. 자 그렇다면 올 시즌 목표
Well, I
물어볼
gotta
것도 없이
win.
당연히
Keep that.
우승이시겠네요.
네, 우승입니다.
I have to win a
그럼
GSL at least
마지막으로
once.
올 시즌 이 어윤수 선수를 응원하는 팬들에게 한마디 해주시죠.
So any final words to your fans?
사실 저도 3회 준우승 할 줄 몰랐는데 3회 준우승까지 하게 됐는데 4회는
I never expected to be the finals 3 times.
네, 알겠습니다.
But I've already
오늘
done it.
기대하겠습니다.
This time is going to be
네.
my championship.
자, 오늘 두 번째로 만나볼 선수는요. 어윤수 선수가 지목한 신인입니다. 코드 S에서
Okay, our second player.
S를 확정지었을 때
He's the
정말
rookie here in
감격스러운
Code S.
모습을 보여주셨는데요. 최성희 선수 만나보겠습니다.
And he's gonna be Sue's
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
It is
네.
trust.
자, 첫 코드 S입니다.
CJ
소감이
Antis.
어떠세요?
첫
So it's your very first Code S. How do you feel?
기뻤는데 이번에 코드 S 올라와서 사람도 더 많고.
Yeah, when I went through Code A, I was really happy.
네, 긴장감이
And
느껴지는데요.
today,
사실 코드 A
I'm actually
때
really nervous.
직관을 가서 제가 봤거든요. 근데 잘 하시니까 긴장감을 조금 푸셔도 될 것 같은데.
So I watched your
어윤수
games.
선수
I was
데뷔
actually at the
어떻게
studio when you were
하셨어요?
playing.
어윤수 선수, 네.
그냥 1경기만 준비하고
You looked really good.
그냥
Have you practiced a lot for this match against Sue?
나머지는 잘 집중해서 풀어가려고 준비했어요.
네. 그런데 오늘 하필이면 이렇게 조례
Well,
보니까
I'm just gonna
다
concentrate,
베테랑들이 이렇게
on my matches
계시더라고요.
here, not so much
제가 세
my opponent.
선수의 이 경력을 조합을 해보니까
The
20년이
game's not so much
살짝
my opponent.
넘어요. 오늘 조편성 보신 느낌이 어떠셨어요?
그래도 좀
So when you look at your group, how do you feel?
다른 조보다는 더 편한 게
오.
이렇게 스타일이 별로 없으신 분들이라
You know, I'd say compared to other groups,
그런가요?
충분히
I
올라갈
would
수
say
있을 것 같아요.
this is
네.
doable for me
조금은
because
긴장했지만 그래도
I think all my
다부지게 포부를
opponents.
밝혀주셨는데요. 마지막으로
I don't
오늘
think they have a particular
코드
style that I have to
A
worry
친구분들이
about.
많이 오셔서 응원을 해주셨는데 오늘 함께 오셨나요?
네? 아니요, 안 왔어요.
When you play in Code A, a lot of
그렇군요.
fans
자,
came
그래도
and cheered you
와
on.
계시진 못하지만 응원하고 있을
Do you
겁니다.
feel like you have a lot of
마지막으로
fans here today?
가볼게요.
재밌는 게임 보여드릴 테니까 많이
It's just-
지켜봐 주세요.
네,
Yeah.
알겠습니다. 오늘 지켜보도록 하겠습니다.
But
감사합니다.
not exactly.
네.
I'll play some
자,
great
이렇게
games today,
신인
so please
최정희
cheer for me, guys.
선수의 또 목표까지 들어봤는데요. 이번에 세 번째로 만나볼 선수는요. 무소속으로 돌아와서 다시 한번 이 시작을 알려주는 선수입니다. 박수호
Our next
선수
player.
만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
After his
네.
debut,
자,
this is the first time here
12연속대로
teamless. It's
깜짝
DRG.
놀랐었는데 13연속 진출을 이뤄내셨습니다. 소감이 어떠세요?
So it's 12 consecutive Code S's. It's now 13 for you. How do you feel?
편했으면 좋겠는데
네,
항상 그 집 문 안에 들어갔다가 쫓겨나서
네,
그렇게 좋지만은 않네요. 네.
네. 그래도 저희 코데스의 공무원이신데 그래서
I know it's
자신감
been 13 times in a row for me.
가지셨으면 좋겠는데요. 오늘 조편성 보니까
But I couldn't make it
어떠셨어요?
far, so I'm really hoping to do better now.
개인적으로는 테란전을 하고 싶었는데 네, 토스 2명과 저그 2명이라서
Personally, I would prefer to be playing
아쉽긴
against
하지만
Terrans.
그래도 네,
But
해볼만한
there
것
are no
같아요.
Terrans on my
자,
team.
지금 이
Well, I'm
무소속
teamless.
상황인데 연습하는
and,
데는
I'm a little
어려움
disappointed.
없으셨나요? 어떻게 준비하셨어요?
So with that being
집에서
team,
일단
I
하고
think it's
있는데
probably been pretty
네.
hard to practice. How have you practiced?
혼자만의 시간이니까
You know, I just
혼자밖에
practiced
없어서
alone.
네.
게임을 생각하는 시간이 더욱 늘어나가지고 연습하는데 능률은 훨씬 더 좋아진 것 같아요.
I'm just thinking about my
네,
strategy and
잘
build
됐네요.
orders more.
참 마지막으로 지금
more so than just
팬분들께서
grinding in the game.
열심히 또 박수호 선수를 바라보고 있습니다. 이분들께 오늘의 각오 말씀해 주시죠.
There's a lot of fans still supporting you. Anything to say to them?
다들 계속 저 광탈하는 거 보시기 지긋지긋하실 텐데
네.
네 저도 똑같이
Yeah.
지긋지긋하니까요.
I think all my fans are probably a little bit
네,
disappointed.
오늘은 최종전에서 좀 더
Last time that I couldn't make the round of 16, so this time I'm going to really try to get there.
네. 자 이렇게 해서 오늘 세 번째로 나서 박수호 선수를 만나봤고요. 이제 마지막
Got the
선수입니다.
necessary back of the head shot
이번에
there.
2연속 코데스
All right,
진출을 이뤄냈는데요.
moving on to our last player now.
송병구 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네.
And it is Stork.
코데스 두 번째
second Code S
진출이신데요. 소감이 어떠세요?
So Stork gets your second Code S. How do you feel?
코드 S에 올라온 게 너무 좀 기뻤는데요.
네.
지금은 실력이 좀 향상돼서
You know, last season it was my first Code S, and I gotta say I was a bit overwhelmed, but this time
이제는 당연하다.
it's a different feeling.
자 이번에도 참 우렁찬
Feels like I've gotta make it to the round of
팬들이
16.
함께 또 오셨습니다. 항상 이렇게
Whenever
인기가
we have
있으신데
Stork in our
10년 동안
studio,
꾸준히 인기 있는 비결 좀
There are
들어볼
a
수
lot of male
있을까요?
fans here for you.
저도 잘 모르겠는데요. 아무래도
What are the secrets to
다른
keeping your
잘하는
fame and
선수들은
popularity for
슬럼프
10
같은 거
years?
없이 꾸준히 잘하는데
네.
저 같은 경우는 약간 은퇴해도 이상하지 않을 정도로
Well, I think a lot of
슬럼프를
players
다시
who are in a
올라오고
certain
하는
class
모습에 좀 많이 응원해 주시는 것 같아요.
They never really
인간적인
slump.
매력도 느껴져서
But
그렇군요.
lately, I've
자, 팬들은 물론이고
throughout my career, it's been a
지금
roller
코데스에
coaster.
있는
I've had ups and
선수분들까지
downs,
송병구
and maybe
선수가
that's giving them
승리에
reason to cheer
올랐으면
for me.
좋겠다 이렇게 응원을 하고 계시거든요.
네.
후배와의 관계도 돈독하신가 봐요.
Not only fans, but a lot of players in Code S support you.
팀원들은 잘 챙겨준다고
And they want you to-
생각하는데
they want to see you
옛날에는
advance.
모든 팀 고루고루 다 친했거든요. 근데
네.
지금은 좀 다른 팀들이랑 제가 교류를 많이 안 하는 편이라서 잘 모르겠어요.
Well, before
네.
I
자,
actually
도지명시
had a great
송병구
relationship with the
선수가
other
없으면
teams.
굉장히 아쉬울 것
But when I
같습니다. 기대 많이
concentrate,
되세요?
저도 조지명
I focus into my
씨랑
games a
해본 지
lot.
엄청 오래돼서
네.
이번 시즌 생겼다는 거 듣고 최종 목표는 일단 8강을 잡기
Sorry, guys, I didn't get that one.
오늘의 목표는 16강 진출하는 걸로
They're talking about the group
가지고
selection
왔고요.
day.
꼭 이뤄낼 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 마지막으로 이렇게 직관을
It was a big
와주신
motivating
팬분들께
moment for him
해주시죠.
after what happened in the group selection.
다른 조에 비해서는 좀 저희 조가 좀 수월한 것 같긴 한데
Says, I think
방심하지
compared to
않고
the other group,
열심히 해가지고 꼭
These groups are actually pretty doable. I'm feeling pretty
네,
comfortable today.
알겠습니다. 오늘 활약
I'm gonna do my
기대해
best.
보겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
All right.
네.
Well, good luck to Stork.
자,
And
이렇게 해서
that
오늘
does it for the
FPL
interviews.
나가는 네 분의
Yep.
선수를 모두 만나봤는데요.
Interesting to see DRG back in that interview. You know, teamless and saying, well, I really just kind of thought about what strats I was going to do. I wasn't really grinding since I have no teammates.
Yeah.
So, guys, come down to the event, or participate in our event down here in the GSL studio. We have a coin system here. If you make a sign, you'll get an extra coin. Also, thank you for Asus. Thanks to Asus for sponsoring us here and supporting us. We could not be doing this without people like you guys.
That's right. So make sure you make some signs, say something about my handsomeness or how smart I am, and you'll probably get it on camera and get 2 GSL coins. Tasteless signs normally don't make it on as much.
Not as
He's
much lately.
yesterday's news now that he's 30 years old.
I'm 30. I'm too old to be a caster. I'm rotten fruit artosis.
You are rotten fruit. But you know what? Sometimes with rotten fruit, you can make a really gross wine. So hopefully one day, we can get you there.
Can you make a sun-dried tomato with a somewhat rotten tomato?
Well, I mean, if it's dried, you're not going to get wine.
Yeah, but I was
Oh,
just
you mean
thinking
can
of,
it rot?
Yeah, I was talking
Yeah.
about just something completely different that also.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, of course it can rot, yeah. Anything
But if
that
it's
is
rotted
biological
before a little
can
bit,
rot, right?
can you still make it into a
Huh?
good? If it's rotted before, can you still dry it out into a sun-dried tomato, or is it still bad?
Well, I think you probably could.
I feel like this is the weirdest question I've ever
No,
asked
no,
you, but I
it's-
actually really kind of wanted to
Yeah,
know.
I
know we
think
talked
you
about
could
it.
you could take the mold off of a tomato and make it a sun-dried tomato still. I don't know if it would taste as good,
Probably would taste as good.
or maybe it would taste better. I like blue cheese.
Blue cheese is delicious.
Yeah, this would be blue sun-dried tomato. Maybe we could make it killing tasteless.
I saw this article on the rise of popular ingredients in gourmet food. I believe blue cheese is on the biggest rise right now. Saw this last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Pesto
delicious.
was big a few years ago.
Oh God, pesto's
Pesto's
amazing.
amazing.
Too.
Yep. Well,
Speaking of cheese, which 2 players do you think is going to get out of this group?
I think it's going to be Sue, and you know, I want to lean towards DRG, but he's teamless, and that's a really weird factor.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Stork. I don't know if
Yeah.
he'll get out, but
Sue
Sue
Stork
and
is my
somebody
pick,
else
too.
probably.
Sue Stork is who I think tasteless.
If Sue doesn't, that's going to be a real blow
Yeah.
to Sue, because he's gotten 3 consecutive GSL finals in a row. And to be knocked out like that would just be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. Probably get second place in his group. He doesn't generally like to win things. Well, I mean, going up against Trust, he's the one that chose Trust, I guess. So that match shouldn't be too hard for him, I think.
I wouldn't think so.
But you know what? Here's the cool thing. Whenever I see, like, you know, we've seen some Protosses that weren't as strong recently, like Hurricane and Terminator.
Yeah.
But Trust is actually on CJ Entis, and they make really great game plans. They actually have Coach Park as their head coach, and he really understands how to plan out a series based upon the skill levels of who's going into it and their play styles and stuff. He's like, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the whole world
Well,
ever.
there's a real art to not just planning out a strategy for one game, but to prepare an entire series.
And I think that Trust is going to come in with some very intelligent strategies. Now, can he pull those off? That's a completely another question. And I think Sue's going to be watching for stuff like that. I think it's not too hard to figure out that Trust should be coming in with really intelligent play. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what he has up his sleeves.
Trust saying in that interview that he was really more focused on just playing the games well than trying to figure out his opponent, which is interesting. That might actually not be a bad idea against somebody like Su.
When you ask some of the better players in the world, I remember like, I forget exactly who, but a lot of top players do say things like that. Like, look, I'm playing against the race, not the player, because you don't want to get psyched out. And when you think you're going to go up against Su, you can do nothing but get psyched out.
That is true.
He's shown consistently to be one of the best players in the world, like just non-stop we're coming in on a year now. So, Trust, it's smart of him to be like, all right, I'm playing against a Zerg. Here's my against Zerg strat on this map.
Yeah, this is the last GSL Code S of the year, guys.
Yeah.
So
if Trust doesn't win here, he's out for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be a while that he would have time off from Code S. So, a lot of pressure for these guys. We only have 3 GSL Code S's a year. Our map for game number 1 is going to be on Overgrowth. A Zerg vs Protoss, Su against Trust here in the GSL Code S. Over here in the bottom left, one of the scariest Zergs of all time.
SK Telecom T1 Su.
And over here in the upper right, in the red,
CJ Trust.
our map is Overgrowth. This is a great map. It's made for some very good PVZs. I'm curious as to how exactly Trust is going to play this on this map here against Su. Su is really, since sometimes it's the best Zergs in the world are not necessarily the most exciting. Su just doesn't really make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, he's really smart all the time.
Whoa, that's a great picture of Artosis there.
It does look like those are my eyebrows. Unmistakable.
That's your nose for sure.
Well, my nose is a little bit better than that nose.
Okay, we have the drone coming up now to scout. And it's going to be Hatch first here for Su. And he's going to be able to block the Nexus first. Nicely done here.
And it's a very nice scout. We'll see how Trust deals with it. This is the way people are dealing with it currently, is just sending that second probe, and normally going up to 16 probes as well.
Oh my god! Okay, nicely done there.
You know what I think
somehow
people
that drone
need
did not die. That has to have like 1 HP.
Yeah, it's super low. You know what people need to start doing, Tasteless? I want to see someone go up with the drone, do exactly that, because Nexus
what we need
first
are just a second drone sent out. We just the meta game just becomes all the workers fighting in the middle. It just stops making any sense.
That's funny. I was gonna say actually like a quick pool with it, because when you see that drone, you always send the second probe and make this is the way you counter it, right? Is you make the second probe. No one's like throwing down a gate right away because they're like, well, as long as I don't let him make the hatchery, whether or not he wants to make the hatchery, as long as I block that and send a second probe, I clean this up pretty easily.
Yeah.
But if someone went for a quick pull with that, because that makes the gateway even later, I think that would be kind of neat to see as a cheese mixed in. Because this build, even though that's like super specific to exactly this build and exactly this reaction, I mean, anyone that watches a lot of PVZ at the top level in Korea right now sees that this is what's going on here.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because, you do lose a little bit of minerals sending that one drone out, but the opportunity to delay the Nexus is so annoying. That's not just a base that you're not mining from or even a structure you're not making probes from. That's a later chrono boosts.
Yeah, that's very true.
It slows down a lot.
It adds up quite a bit for sure. And, the fact that he sends out that drone to scout and forces second probe to come down and lose more mining time there as well. The thing is, the mining time doesn't even really matter for the Zerg because he can easily go for the double hatch before pool in that situation.
Sure. So we have that Zealot out. The Wallen is not finished yet at the entrance.
Yeah.
And from here, it's just going to be a lot of it's going to be a lot more droning up. We're going to wait to see what exactly the Protoss's tech is going to be.
And with the 2 gates coming up, we'll see if he throws down a forge pretty soon here. Just making some sentries at the moment. Nothing too exciting going on. Pretty regular gas timings here from Su as well.
Did you ever end up beating that game, that RPG you were playing?
I haven't actually been able to play it.
What was the name of that again?
Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Fantastic game, but no, actually, I almost played it some today, but I was like super busy. I've just been so busy working basically since the last time we talked about it.
We've been casting actually nonstop. Now I'm thinking about. I haven't even had time to play anything.
Yeah,
Since we got back from Taiwan, we've been casting so much.
I haven't, but like at the end of next week, I'll have like a day off, so that'll be great.
Toast is going back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Mothership Core, the Zealot are being driven out now. Good defense there by Sue. Completely prepared for that. Losing the Mothership Core. Map control right now is going back to Zerg. Protoss can't really do much of anything with the Zealot and the Mothership Core there.
Yeah, and
it looks like we might be having some aggression here, Artosis.
It looks like it, but we don't have any pylon out on the map, so not really sure.
To see what his tech's going to be.
The chrono boosting of
Did he not send any probe with that Zealot Mothership Core? I guess
no,
he
didn't.
Okay.
I mean, this does look like a third base build.
No Twilight I take it back. Excuse me. This is.
Well, it's interesting because he chrono boosted the Cybernex Core, and as soon as you
that's
see
what
that,
I saw. That I looked at that and I thought, well,
that almost always means that you're trying to get out to get your units a little bit quicker. But
he might have just had a spare chrono or something. Build
yeah,
got off a little bit. He's
I
like,
mean,
well,
maybe he just wanted to get those sentries out a little bit quicker.
Here's the Twilight Council just now starting up way here in the back, and he's actually chrono boosting the Forge as well.
This is basically the most standard and normal build. Everything very, very normal. Like you either do this with an Oracle or without, but it's something that every Protoss should have in their playbook, and everyone's using a lot right now. So it's cool that he's doing this, and he's actually executing it very, very well. He's pushing out with this pressure. This is really nice as well. But the thing is, this is something that Sue plays against all the time. So
yeah, this should be something that he would be able to keep under control. Okay, Guardian Shield goes down. Now the Roaches out here are going to make this much tougher to do any damage.
Ooh.
In fact, I think this is a mistake.
Yeah,
he's going to have to recall out of here.
This much energy, he's not really stopping mining. He's lost 2 sentries.
God, he's going to lose a third here.
Yeah, he lost 3 sentries.
Oh, what is happening?
4 sentries. He lost 4 sentries and a ton of energy and a Zealot.
That was really bad. And he just made a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, that didn't really make sense at all.
That was not worth it at all.
Like, I like the poke a lot. I like poking down. If he doesn't have any roaches, then you can maybe kill a queen, but probably get a drone or two, maybe a few
Oh my God!
But yeah, this is
so incredibly bad for the Protoss. You cannot lose sentries. He already lost 4, and now he's losing additional sentries there. And you want to know what? He used so many force fields back, and that this game actually might be at the point of no return. I mean, this is so much gas
against it. It's
lost.
It's really funny to say point of no return right now at this point when he still has a 3-base economy and a lot of good tech and upgrades. But I think you're pretty close to accurate because this is Sue that he's playing against, and from what Trust has shown us, he's not making like really the best decisions on how to engage.
I think he is a lot more nervous.
He lost 8 sentries, Tasteless. 8.
Well, I mean,
it might even be 9. I'm not even 100%
he spent
sure.
all of his gas getting that. Now, Roaches, the counter to them, when they get in big enough numbers, is force fields and, of course, some Stalkers. Colossi, too, Immortals, too. But to lose this many sentries means you're just not going to have a very strong Protoss army. You can't really do that much. The Zerg can attack you and expand at the same time, like we're seeing now.
Oh, yeah, he's going to put on pressure everywhere. He's forcing more energy out. He's going to pick off buildings left and right.
Now, let's see if these DTs can do anything. And see if he gets this other pylon, that's going to be a disaster, too. 2 unpowered gateways over here at the front, and contaminating where the Immortal is going to pop out. That Robo Bay unable to continue to produce here. Now, will the DTs do any damage? That's the big question, because for the time being, Sue is just going back and forth sniping these pylons as they're making. We have no detection here. We have 3 overseers being made, but not where the action's taking place.
Yeah, well, this DT not being microed too much. Only 3 kills so far. This one might fare a little bit better, but they generally go after the queen, so he's really got to be on top of them. That's a lot of lost mining time, we have to say.
The DT is now backing up. Oh, my God. This is some lost mining time. I don't know if this compares to losing that many sentries here.
But it's good. It's definitely
something.
It is something. He's done some decent damage. He's forced a ton of missed mining time. The drones are all in the wrong places. He knows that mutas are coming. And the mutas are like, where are the mutas? I guess he's just grouping them up right now while he's trying to deal with this. But that was actually, that DT harassment I have to call completely successful. That was really good.
Okay, he's going to find this one DT down here in the bottom left, and that is taken out.
That's the last one, too, so.
And we have triple Stargate right now.
Yeah.
Cranking Phoenix is out here for Trust as he's going to try to stop the Mutalisks before they get too strong.
Well, this worked out pretty well. If he stops the Mutalisk harassment dead in his tracks, which with 3 Stargates this quickly, the amount of time he bought with the DTs, he can actually, he's got a decent amount of Phoenixes already. His Stargates are done. The Mutas haven't even gone across the map. This game, after Trust kind of bungled it a little bit early on and Sue really punished him for it, could turn around a bit.
Yeah, I think
oh my
right.
God, he was like supply blocked for 100 years or something. He only has 2 Phoenixes still.
So bad.
Huh.
Zerg, by the way, now at 181, his supply is shot up. There are some Phoenixes out here, but again, those sentries that were lost earlier is going to make the Zerg ground army just really difficult to deal with. In fact, there's almost not much you can do in a micro situation without the sentries there.
Yeah,
chop
that
up
is
the
rough.
army. There's really,
And he doesn't have the gas to get everything he needs, so it's an issue for sure. Does have a good amount of Phoenixes right now.
Here comes the War Prism now, here to the bottom left.
Oh, he's got to be careful here. Actually engaging pretty aggressively.
The Zealots now warping in. Right now, Sue is supply blocked here. And actually, Phoenixes, he's doing a pretty good job of dealing with these Mutas.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's killing off quite a few of them, indeed. More and more Mutas on the way. Sue doesn't even care. He's just going for it. Thing is, we have Phoenix range on the way as well, so as soon as that's done, take this micro with the range upgrade, and the Mutas are just all going to die.
Okay, takes out that War Prism. Yeah, Mutas are not a viable option anymore here with this many Phoenixes out.
I agree with you.
And whenever the Protoss gets enough Phoenixes out and stops the Zerg from making error, these Phoenixes are just a constant nuisance from here on out.
You know what's really weird is he just keeps making Mutas. I guess we have to see like a group of Corruptors pop out pretty soon.
That's what I was thinking.
He has like
something,
a huge amount of money.
Because Mutas alone are not going to cut it. We have more Stalkers being warped in here. Air attack being upgraded, and there are the Corruptors right now, 4 of them being produced.
Yeah,
Zerg
he should be
almost
making...
maxed out again now.
He'll make a few more of those as well, but Protoss actually is going to be able to max out. The thing is, I'm a little bit scared about how he's walking around on the map right now. His army really isn't that great, his ground army that is, at the moment. When he maxes out, though, with this many Phoenixes against a mostly Mutalisk-based army with a bunch of Corruptors, he's actually going to be in a pretty good spot, I think.
The problem for the Protoss here is really the Lings.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Zealots. Even as his army moves around, the Zealots are not parked on the outside.
Well, right now we're going to see these Phoenixes move up and kill off whatever they can. He's going to have to micro them pretty heavily. He doesn't want the Corruptors to just destroy them. Not really that many Corruptors right now, though.
Okay, Trust now coming down here. 170 supply. Shaving off a few Overlords here. He's going to have to engage very carefully. Sue going to come in here from behind and try to get a surround.
Oh, he just needs... Oh, those Force Fields, I don't really like those. He really needs the Lings off him. The Force Fields in the back, actually pretty good. But the Phoenix is in the wrong area, actually attacking Corruptors without micro. He needs to swing him around and kill the Mutas.
Oh, my God. This whole army is going to get obliterated here. Sue with just such a good engagement compared to Trust control as that army surrounded him. And I think from here, all Sue has to do is stop the 4th base from getting up and running. Keep his opponent on 3 bases.
I do agree with you there, Tasteless. And with this many Lings on the way, I don't think it's going to be all that hard, really. He is having to remake a lot of Phoenixes. We don't really see any Zealots or anything like that. There's no splash damage right now for Trust. That was really kind of an anti-timing, that attack. That, you know, Trust, a lot of what he's doing is really great. He's choosing good build orders, but his attacks when he's moving out, like with the sentries early on and then with that attack, it's just not the right time.
All right, Lings, Mutas, Roaches all coming in here, hitting the second now. He's not going to go for that extra base, but instead trying to take out the heart of the Protoss' base, chasing these Stalkers back. I don't know if Sue could be stopped here. I mean, the second base is going to be in shambles by the time the Lings are done with it. The Roaches and Mutas are zoning back the Stalkers and the Phoenixes. He's going to lose that Robo Bay. It's
going to lose the
supply
Nexus.
doubling here of the Zerg. It's such a lead right now. Even Blink not going to be helpful. I think game number 1 is going to go to Sue here. GG.
Yep.
Or, GG. Trust loses.
All right, so Sue actually was very stubborn that game. I think that if Trust like, well, I think when he lost the sentries, that's when Stu decided to be stubborn, because he's like, you can't beat me after you lose 10 sentries. It's never going to happen.
Well, I think that we can say that our Protoss played really well after that.
Yeah.
But losing that many sentries, I mean, that's really the foundation of your Protoss army against Zerg, is to get those sentries up. So first of all, you're safe and you have the defense. Then you add to that army of sentries, you know, Stalkers, Colossi, everything else. And then you can use those force fields aggressively to isolate parts of the map, chop up armies. But yeah, he came out, he didn't even recall. He had a Mothership Core.
He took forever to recall.
And he lost 4 sentries before pulling back, and then left the sentries and the Mothership Core outside of his base, and it got surrounded again.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the nail in the coffin.
That was pretty bad, but I feel like he actually could have come back if he had waited for a full maxed out army for that one engagement that killed him. Because first off, if he had even microed that like perfectly, like you give that army to Parting, the battle doesn't look like that. I think that Parting could have like salvaged that battle.
You give that army to Parting, and I think that hatchery would have been destroyed.
The hatchery that was.
He would have destroyed the third base, the second base, and then did a contain on the low ground, and
Probably.
eventually had to recall back.
Probably.
But Trust picks the map Nimbus.
All right, a fine choice. Good map. Let's see what he does on it, Tasteless. No Deadwing. That's something we